Imagine a live interview where the expected narrative unravels right before your eyes. A seasoned reporter, confident in his gotcha routine, finds himself outmatched by a rising political star who not only answers every question with poise, but turns every trap back on him. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on when a guest completely flips the script on a host. Now let's set the stage for an unforgettable showdown that challenges everything we think we know about media bias and narrative control. The studio lights blaze down on a modern set. A sleek black desk dominates center stage. Behind it sits Bryce Langford, a liberal reporter known for his aggressive style and relentless questioning. Today, Bryce believes he has the perfect opportunity to corner his guest, Karoline Leavitt, a rising star in conservative politics whose calm and confident demeanor has captured public attention. Bryce has spent weeks compiling every clip, every social media post, every past interview angle. His team has laid out the blueprint for tonight. Challenge her on policy, expose any contradictions, and force her to stumble. In the control room, producers murmur affirmations, camera operators adjust angles, and a final touch-up is given to his makeup as the countdown begins. Bryce mutters under his breath, "She's never faced someone like me." Tonight the narrative is mine. The theme music swells as the screen behind him flashes the title, Exposing the Right, Live with Karoline Leavitt. The cameras roll, the lights brighten, and the stage is set for a confrontation that promises to be anything but ordinary. Karoline Leavitt strides onto the set with undeniable poise. There's no hint of nerves, only calm assurance. As she slides into the guest chair, Bryce offers a forced smile. "Karoline, thanks for being here," he begins, his tone professional yet edged with anticipation. "You're known as a fresh voice in conservative politics, yet many critics say you're simply repackaging old ideas. How do you respond to those who claim you're just another mouthpiece for the same Republican establishment?" Without missing a beat, Karoline tilts her head slightly and replies, "It's fascinating, Bryce. When young progressives are called trailblazers, it's celebrated. But when a young conservative rises, they claim it's nothing more than a copy of old rhetoric. I believe ideas should be judged on their merit, not on the label attached to them." For a split second, Bryce is caught off guard. The audience senses the tension. Live comments begin to flood in, many nodding along with Karoline's measured response. Bryce's practiced script has met an unexpected challenge. Bryce recovers quickly. "All right, let's dive into policy," he says. "You've opposed certain progressive economic measures. Yet many young people support those ideas wholeheartedly. Why should they listen to someone who argues against policies they believe can improve their lives?" Karoline leans forward slightly, her voice steady and deliberate. "Young people don't support ideas just because they sound good. They support what works in practice. Look at the states that have implemented these so-called progressive measures. Rising costs, shrinking job opportunities. I believe real solutions come from pragmatic policies, not feel-good slogans." As her words hit home, Bryce's grip on his notes tightens. The dynamic is shifting. His questions, designed to put her on the defensive, are instead reinforcing her credibility. The live chat explodes with supportive comments, and even some in the studio exchange impressed glances. Bryce attempts another angle. "Your party has struggled with young voters. Don't you think that by opposing these popular policies, you're preaching to a diminishing audience?" Karoline responds with quiet conviction. "Young people aren't rejecting conservative values, they're rejecting a version of conservatism that has failed to explain its vision. When the media portrays one side as the villain and the other as the savior, it's no wonder trust erodes. I'm here to offer real solutions, not just sound bites." If you're finding this exchange as riveting as I am, be sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the media truly shapes the narrative, or is it just a reflection of our divided opinions? Subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that matter. Bryce, sensing his control slipping, shifts his approach. "Let's talk about accountability," he says, leaning in. "You've criticized the media for pushing narratives, but isn't it true that you're backed by powerful donors? How do you reconcile that with your claim of being an outsider?" The tension is palpable. Karoline meets his challenge with an almost imperceptible smile. "Bryce, that's an interesting question. When a conservative receives funding, it's often painted as dark money and corruption. But when a progressive candidate raises millions from Hollywood or tech billionaires, it's celebrated as grassroots support. The double standard is striking. I believe in transparency, and I welcome scrutiny on all sides. Bryce's eyes flicker with irritation. He searches his notes for a counter, but the room is silent as the audience hangs on every word. You frame this as misinformation, he presses. But can you pinpoint exactly what I said that was false? Karoline's response is measured, forcing Bryce into uncomfortable specificity. That's the point, Bryce. Broad accusations are easy. It's the details that matter. And when you don't specify, it undermines your credibility. The media thrives on repeating half-truths until they're accepted as fact. As the conversation deepens, the live comments are a mix of applause and critical questions. Bryce now finds himself not only defending his own approach, but also grappling with the audience's shifting sentiment. Desperation creeps into Bryce's tone as he makes one last push. Our viewers deserve answers. Don't you think that your rhetoric, however measured, fuels the division in our country? Are you accountable for contributing to that divide? Karoline pauses. A long, deliberate pause that seems to stretch the silence into something almost tangible. Then she leans forward, her eyes locked with Bryce's. Bryce, accountability isn't a one-way street. If we're truly committed to bridging our divides, we must ask ourselves if the system that frames our questions is rigged. Is it fair to target one side while ignoring the double standards at play? The studio falls silent as the weight of her words sinks in. The live feed is ablaze with reactions. Bryce's confident facade begins to crack. The control he once wielded is slipping away, and the audience senses it. The interview wraps up, but the real drama is just beginning. As the cameras cut off, backstage chaos erupts. Bryce's team scrambles to control the narrative while Karoline exits the stage with unshaken composure. Clips of the exchange flood social media, headlines flash, Karoline Leavitt flips the script on liberal media, and when the interview fights back, Bryce retreats to his dressing room, his phone buzzing incessantly with notifications. Colleagues call him names like the man who got owned and the reporter who lost control. Meanwhile, online, the public debate intensifies. Even some of Bryce's own side criticizes his handling of the segment, questioning whether he was prepared for the unexpected turn of events. In quiet moments, Bryce reflects on the experience, a realization that his carefully constructed narrative has been dismantled by an opponent who refused to play by the expected rules. He contemplates the shifting power of the audience, now more discerning and less willing to accept one-sided narratives. Outside the studio, discussions ignite about the nature of media and accountability. Karoline's performance becomes a rallying point. People across social platforms begin questioning the role of sensationalism in journalism. Is it time for real dialogue instead of rehearsed gotcha moments? A notable comment on a trending post sums it up. The scariest part isn't that Karoline stood her ground. It's that the truth has finally broken through the scripted facade of the media. The conversation spreads, with pundits and everyday viewers alike calling for more balanced debates and transparent reporting. Bryce, now in a quiet office, reviews the storm of reactions. Though his reputation has taken a hit, he also sees this as an opportunity, a moment to learn that true journalism should be about challenging every side equally and encouraging real accountability, not just sensationalism. So, what do you think? Was this just another TV moment, or is it a wake-up call for the way media shapes our reality? Let me know in the comments below. Share your thoughts on whether accountability should be a two-way street in today's media landscape. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that are reshaping our world. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next video.